How bad of a sign is this for the postseason hopes of the Cowboys?
100. And we got to, I don't know why you keep doing a scale of 1 to 10. Skip, this is 100. Because you kept telling me we haven't had that stinker of a game.
I kept telling you. That's going to be my first line when it was my turn. I was going to say, all year I bragged about no stinkers.
No stinkers.
Yep.
You talked about we had that stinker against the Broncos. We had a couple of stinkers here and there.
The Raiders and the Cardinals and the Chiefs last year. Go ahead.
This is not the type of performance that you want heading into the playoffs. And Dak, 7 straight games, he's thrown at least 1 interception. He's tied for the league lead with 15 picks, and he missed 5 games. It's safe to say he would have had that record all to himself had he played all 17 ball games. Skip, Dallas should be really concerned, and we talked about this. You asked a couple of weeks ago, we asked, how much confidence do I have in Dak? I gave him a 1. I said, but you guys, you're stuck with it. You ain't got no choice but to be 8, 9, 10, maybe even 15.
Correct.
So, but he looked awful. 14 to 37, as Jen mentioned. It was
14 of 37, that's a career low. What is it, 37.8%?
Yeah. I rounded up. Let's give him 38. Let's be nice.
Right.
128 little measly yards and a pick six. Skip, you're going to need to tell me when it's your turn. What him and Noah Brown got a pack. He is trying to get Noah Brown paid or something. There is no way in hell Noah Brown should have this many targets. CeeDee Lamb should be seething. As a matter of fact, CeeDee Lamb walked up the field on the 3rd down. He said, man, I'm tired of y'all booing.
He did.
He
threw up his hand and just walked off the field.
A QBR of 14.8. Dak was 0 of 10 on tight window throws, which is the second such attempts without a completion in a single game since 2016 when he became the starter. Skip, he was just awful. But it wasn't just Dak. They couldn't run the football. Defense wasn't much better because Sam Howell, he had a couple of drops that could have kept drives alive. McLaurin dropped one that could have kept a drive alive. He had a couple of drops that could have kept drives alive, and this game could have looked much worse than what it did for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But if I'm the Cowboys, I'm concerned. They had 3 sacks yesterday, but the pressure that they're generating, it doesn't seem the same like it did the first half of the season when they were just all over everybody's quarterback.
Yeah.
And the quarterback had very limited time to throw the football. But Dallas went 3 and out, Skip, a whopping 10 times. 10 times! And generated what? 3 second-half first downs.
10 times?
Skip, 3 first downs against the Washington football team. And their best defensive player didn't even play yesterday. Payne. Was it Payne?
Yeah.
No, Allen. No,
Allen didn't play.
Payne played. Allen didn't play.
All right.
The run game was non-existent. The receivers, there was really no separation. CeeDee got that 1 touchdown. But, Skip, this was a bad look for you guys. This is a bad omen. And you remember, I've been talking about this for like 5, 6 weeks, maybe even 2 months. I said the best case situation for you guys is to be in the 5 seed, you play Tampa. But now all of a sudden, y'all about to make me eat my words. Because I'm having real hard time coming up with a reason why I should pick the Cowboys. Given as bad as Tampa's looked all year, with the exception of 1 game, it's becoming really, really hard for me to summon up a reason why I can say the Cowboys should and will win this game on Monday night, a week from tonight.
Even though they are installed as a early 3-point favorite.
The Cowboys
in that
are.
game. Yes, they are. Okay. Unfortunately, it's my turn. And unfortunately, I cannot disagree with one single word you just uttered. Scale of 1 to 10, you went to 100 on how bad a sign this was. I'm going to go to 1,000 because I am flummoxed. I am thunderstruck. I am blindsided. I am gobsmacked. I am knocked on my tail by what I saw again and again and again and again, and also by what I didn't see yesterday. So Jen opened the show by saying, let's start with the Cowboys. I'm just about finished. I'm just about finished because what was there to like about this? Coach Landry, I told you, I was very close with him, wrote a whole book about the end of Tom Landry, the rise and the fall, and his mantra was, you must streak into the playoffs. You know it because you did this again and again and again. If you're going to go places, you need to get on a roll into the playoffs. You did mention there was 1 year when you sort of fell off your horse for a second, but you got right back on and rode it. And we just stumbled backward all the way to Tampa Bay. That's what we just did. I wouldn't be so upset if they hadn't approached this game the correct way, which was, I have no problem with them playing everybody and playing to win.
Right.
And Dak Prescott was up front on the record all week last week. We need to go win a football game. In the grand scheme of things, They had gotten to play Gardner Minshew and Joshua Dobbs and Sam Howell. So the last 3 games are against not just backups. We're down to
Backups to the backups.
That's correct. We had 1 backup in Gardner Minshew, who's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we got about a 4th stringer, Joshua Dobbs. And then we definitely got a 3rd stringer in Sam Howell,
correct.
who's a nice rookie. But he's just a rookie.
Exactly.
Never started a game
Correct.
before. What are you doing? And if you hadn't played this one to win, and by the way, it was such a debacle for me because if you had done what you set out to do, if you'd walked in there and said, okay, watch this, and if after 1 quarter it had been 21-0 Dallas, you can't tell me it wouldn't have sent some shockwaves up to Philadelphia where they start looking up at the scoreboard saying, oh no. I realize Giants
They didn't play well
nobody.
either.
Okay, they didn't play well, but what if they start looking up and then they start really pressing like, Dallas took care, but we got to take care. We got to take care. And I get it was Davis Webb, who I haven't seen since he's competing with Baker Mayfield and then getting beaten out by my homeboy at Texas Tech. But I get all that. But stranger things have happened in the NFL. So I wanted my team to at least put a little bit of heat on Philly. And obviously they did the opposite of. They were not ready to play. It appeared to me they didn't want to play.
Skip, you took the words right out of my mouth. It looked like they didn't want to play this game, or they approached it like we're going to play a quarter or a preseason game, because that is not the type of intensity that you want for a game of this magnitude. Yeah, like you said, let's put some pressure on the Eagles. They're going to be scoreboard watching. They're going to be flashing scores throughout the stadium.
Right.
But I didn't like the way they approached this game. They looked terrible from kickoff.
Yeah. Let's send a message. You just sent a message to the GOAT down in Tampa Bay that you are gettable. You are vulnerable.
Yep.
You got weaknesses everywhere.
Yeah, they do.
Lord have mercy. Come across like, well, I screwed up the first one. Let me try this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this right this time. I'm going to make sure that Fuller catches this because he's probably their best DB. I'm going to hit him right in the hands. Please don't drop this one. Please return it so I can have yet another pick 6, because that is 3 in the last 4 games. 3 in 4 games. It's hard to, you can go a whole year. A lot of there's some luck involved, but again, you could go a whole year and not have any pick 6s.
But it's funny that you say that. But a lot of times when you get on a roll, and you throw one and you get another one, you'll keep it going. It's just like sacks. Team gets sacked, they get a bunch of them. Guy scores touchdowns, he'll get a bunch of them. And Dak's on a roll with pick 6s.
Okay. So obviously, he just got outplayed at Washington against your archest rival by a 5th-round rookie out of North Carolina. And he's a nice player, but he's just a rookie.
Just a rookie.
And you got outplayed by him because he threw for 169 and you threw for 128. And God, don't even get me started on the QBRs. They're just horrendous over here.
Dak was 14.8.
14. What was? I'll find it here in just a second. But the point is,
it wasn't as bad as Dak's.
It wasn't as bad as Dak's. And the point is this. Washington had 309 total yards to a grand total for the Dallas Cowboys of 182, which was obviously a season low. And then I look at 4 of 18 on 3rd down, and you had the 10 on 3 and outs. 4 of 18 on 3rd down. I mean, Washington's decent on defense, but they're not that good.
No.
And then my man Zeke, he tries 8 times and gets a grand total of 10 yards. 8 carries for 10 yards? Are you kidding me? I didn't think he was going to play, and maybe he didn't feel like playing, and maybe he didn't even try to play.
It don't look like anybody felt like playing.
Okay. Pollard, I keep saying he emerged as a superstar, or not a superstar, but a star. I couldn't tell yesterday. 7 carries for a grand total of 19 yards. Well, what am I supposed to do with this? Because I told you all year, as you prefaced, this team I believe in because it didn't have one stinker. And it ends the year with the biggest stinker since opening night. And this was a much bigger stinker than opening night because they lost to Brady and company at Jerry World 19-3. This was 26-6.
It should have been worse if Howell don't throw a horrible pick in the end zone. You're going to get at least 3. Skip, he's on like the 6-yard line.
They missed a field goal. It could have been way worse than this.
Okay, you're right.
Okay, so I'm back to my head coach. This is, in large part, to me, a coaching game because all these final games are about how you revere, fear, respect your head coach. Can he push the right buttons in you when it's time to push? Mike McCarthy did not have his team ready, and I can't blame him for the whole show, but it was so bad from the start because my punter is really good. Brian Anger's a really good Pro Bowl caliber punter. Our man, my own Micah Parsons, 11 from heaven. I don't know where he's from right now because I can't find him. He's 11 from nowhere. I don't know where he's from. I don't know what's happened. Is he beat up? Did he hit the sophomore wall? I don't know because he's not having impact.
Right.
And he's not creating enough furor over here on this side that it opens up lanes for everybody else on that side because I can't find my pass rush, which has turned into a hush.
I think the thing is for Micah is that the expectations that you and others have set for him. I mean, the guy had 13 and a half sacks, which is not a bad sophomore season. But you were expecting...
I know, but he had him a long time ago. He had a good half year.
He did. And I think the thing was, Skip, you was like, I'm expecting him to challenge T.J. Watt and Michael Strahan's sack total.
I completely, utterly believed it with all my heart and soul.
And he got up to that kind of start because he was getting every game. The games that he got a sack, he wasn't just getting one, he was getting two. You started the season off with two. So you're ahead of the curve. So now you got 16 games. But he fell, you're right, he fell off. I don't know if he's beat up. That hand is still bandaged.
Maybe.
Is it lacerated, Skip? What? I mean,
it was. They said it was lacerated.
Is it on the inside? Is it on the backside?
I don't know.
We don't know because he isn't the same. He's not playing with the same fury the havoc that he normally wreaks. He's just like he looks like a guy out there. He looks like a guy with
He looks like a guy.
He does.
Yeah, 11. I'm waiting for 11 to wreak havoc. No. Which brings me to my owner and operator.
What do you say after the game? What do you say?
Wayne Jones
What do you
Jr.
say? What do you say?
We got to suck on that all week, he said. If that doesn't make you want to get ready to go into the playoffs, nothing else will. Okay, I'll buy that. That was as thorough a butt kicking as we've had this year. That's a fact. And we're going to find out if that'll get you ready or not. Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. He said it should with these guys, with what they're made of. Jerry,
I couldn't tell.
Jerry's selling ice to Eskimos, is the all-time super salesman, so he's going to put as positive a spin on this as he can. And he was talking about how we've got to turn this into a plus because I'm thrilled that we've got an opportunity. Well, they're already in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled that we didn't have to look over there at the Philadelphia game and the San Francisco game and say, boy, did we mess up. No, they didn't. His point was, what if you had lost and they had lost? Then you'd really be sick.
But I said, that's what I was talking about, Skip, but I said this would be the most Cowboy thing ever. 49ers lose, the Eagles lose, and then you lose on top of it.
Okay,
but, Skip, the thing is, but going into the playoffs, if the Cowboys had rested their starters, you could like, well, we rested our starters. We would have beat them if we'd have played Dak. We'd have played all our starters. But you played them damn near the whole game, and the game really wasn't close.
No.
I don't know how you like. If this doesn't get you ready, Skip. If that was a close ball, if you had won this ball game and you had looked like the Cowboys had looked pretty much all year, with the exception of a few hiccups, but you played well all year. Skip, this was the worst game that you've played. This was worse than the San Francisco loss. Now, the loss wasn't insignificant because it was the playoffs. But the way you looked yesterday, man, y'all look like the Colts. Y'all look like a team that wasn't going to the playoffs. Y'all look like y'all didn't care. Y'all was ready to get y'all trash bags today and start your offseason.
That's true.
What you guys looked like yesterday.
That's what it looked like. And yet, they're in the playoffs, but they have to go play the team that actually embarrassed them the most of the whole year, but it feels like it was last year because it was so long ago. But it was 19-3, and Dak stunk in that game. But it was the only time he really stunk, where he just didn't show up at all.
Right.
Until he busted up his thumb late in the game, and he was lost for the next 5 games. Cooper Rush came in and did pretty well and kind of hung in and hung on, and they saved the season. Then he came back and started throwing interceptions, but he also threw a lot of touchdown passes. And by the way, if I might, just to give those Cowboy fans out there just a little bit of hope, I did see one tiny sign of hope. And it was the touchdown pass that Dak threw right at the end of the first half to CD after they had mucked it up the whole game. But again, I need to see this. This is all I got, and this is what's going to have to happen at Tampa. 88 was getting frustrated, as you point out.
Yeah.
But now it's about those two. That's what you got, because I watched Gardner Minshew go up and down the field against my defense, and if Gardner Minshew, with some help, didn't turn over four times,
oh, they'd have beat the brakes off you guys.
They would have beaten us. And then I watched Joshua Dobbs put the fear of God in us. going up and down the field against us and making it a game until late. Dak threw 2 early interceptions. Then he came back in the second half, and he looked like Rain Dakota Prescott. And then yesterday, I didn't see much of Dak at all except for that one throw. So that's all I got. I've thought all year, obviously, my team on paper, if you just look at body of work, is much better than that team in Tampa.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about them in a minute because they didn't do themselves any big favors yesterday either.
Right.
But the truth is, man, I'm up against it now because I picked the Dallas Cowboys to get the NFC Championship game. And before the year started, I picked Brady to win it all. And they showed one big glimmer. It was one glimmer against Carolina and then an opening drive yesterday. And now I'm stuck. Something's got to give here.
What's got to give is Dak throwing 9 targets to Schultz. He throwing 6 targets. Skip, these guys can't beat you. You got one guy that can beat you in the passing game.
Hey,
that's 88.
Now it's to the point, every time he throws it to Noah, I expect a flood. Is that right? I expect a flood. And I expect I got to get on the ark because something, it's going to be.
Skip, that's his homeboy.
Yeah.
They might be distant relatives or something.
I don't know.
I need somebody to offer me an explanation because Noah Brown is a guy. He's in the NFL. I get that. Congratulations. But Skip, for him to get the kind of targets that he's getting.
No.
I mean, in Jacksonville. I mean, if you go back and look at but damn, Dak, why you keep throwing to Noah Brown?
I don't know. Unless all I got is hoping that now the whole world will think Dallas is going to lose at Tampa, and that can be a good thing. Maybe it takes some heat off, some pressure off, because they were going to be like a prohibitive favorite going into this if they had risen and shown yesterday.
Losing like you lost, it messes with your mind.
It does. Well, I mean, look at the last 3 weeks. What do you have to be confident about?
Oh, I'm confident. We can put this thing together. Win. That was your opportunity yesterday. That was the game that you put it all together. Remember CD was talking, Skip? We're going to put one of these games together, and then, we're going to take off. That was your game to put it together. Yeah. Go into the playoff after you don't put foots off in one of your arch rivals. They beat the brakes off you.
The brakes off you. Just when I thought it was safe to trust this football team,
I told you
can't trust it.
I told you
that was about as cowboying a thing as you can cowboy.
Yes.
Right?
It won't be. So should I expect next Tuesday for you to come out here and pound the table? How about?
I mean, this game could end in a tie, right?
No,
you can't have a playoff tie. I don't know. It might go 5 overtimes.
Brady might break out. Brady might beat y'all by about 14. What happens then? You think Mike McCarthy get fired? They lose by 14. He get fired?
You know what? That's a good question. that is a very good question that I think should be a yes. It should be a yes.
You think so?
Well, this team has teetered for 3 weeks and then careened backwards, just falling straight backwards all the way to Tampa Bay.
Dan Quinn said, this is what I envisioned.
I know. Well,
that's why I came back.
It's called Elevate the Coordinator.
Yes.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.